Back in 1914, there's this professor named Pacauley and his student, Billy. They're in Egypt checking out old stuff. Pacauley reads some writing on a wall and figures out a prophecy. It says this super old bad thing called evil shows up every 5,000 years to wreck planets with life on them. To stop it, you need a weapon with water, fire, earth, and air, plus a perfect being as the fifth element. A priest hears about Pacauley's findings and tries to poison him. But Pacauley refuses the water and asks Billy to get some alcohol instead. The priest knows them because he's been looking after their stuff. They're here to grab their relics because there's going to be a big war, and Earth isn't safe anymore. One of the Manda shamans unlocks a secret wall with a key. Pacauley gets so shocked by everything that he faints. The Manda shamans grab the 4 elemental stones and a special box with the 5th element. Billy finds his gun and starts shooting, setting off the security system. Walls begin closing in, so the aliens hurry back to their spaceship. One of them stays behind to give the key to the priest, but their hand gets stuck between the walls. The priest vows to pass on the knowledge to other priests until the Manda shamans come back. 300 years later, the prophecy comes true, and the big bad evil starts heading towards Earth. President Lindbergh gathers his team to discuss the situation. They send a military spaceship loaded with weapons ready to shoot at evil. Then, the latest priest, Vito, shows up to warn Lindbergh that shooting evil will only make things worse. Then, evil uses its power to make all the soldiers start bleeding and kills them. Soon, the Manda shamans start heading towards Earth, hoping to stop evil with a superweapon. They get ambushed by these alien troublemakers called the Mangalores. Those guys blow up their ship and snatch the box with the special stones. The Mangalores give a shout out to Zorg, a human in cahoots with evil. They make a plan to meet up later and swap the stones for some cash. In the city, our main guy Corbin is saying bye to his cat and getting ready to leave his apartment. But surprise, he bumps into a crook packing some serious heat. Then Corbin jumps in his cab and hits the road for his shift as a driver. A bit later, some soldiers find a hand from the wrecked Manda shaman ship. Government scientists put it in a special machine that can rebuild DNA. They explain that Manda shamans are pretty similar to humans. A machine starts piecing together the DNA and makes a stunning woman. She tries to open the capsule but can't. She ends up in the ventilation system and follows it until she's on top of the building. Suddenly, the police surround her. With no other option, she decides to jump and lands inside Corbin's cab. When the police close in on his car, she reads a sign that says, "Please help." Corbin doesn't want to help because he doesn't want to lose his job. But when the woman cries, he finally takes pity on her. Corbin hits the gas, and a crazy chase starts weaving through the city, which Corbin knows really well. He pulls off some slick turns, causing one car to crash into a delivery truck. When the other police cars start shooting, Corbin drives into a super foggy spot to disappear from their radar. But the woman isn't doing well and mumbles priest before passing out. Corbin searches for a priest nearby and ends up at Vito's place. Vito sees a mark on the woman's arm and knows right away she's the 5th element. Then Vito and David come back and give Lilu a key while kicking Corbin out. For hours, Lilu eats a bunch and uses Vito's computer to catch up on 5,000 years of history, learn the local language, and even pick up some martial arts. Vito can understand Lilu's language and finds out she knows where the elemental stones are. Meanwhile, the Mangalores meet with Zorg, who spots a human leading them and calls him out. So get this, the guy who looked like a human was actually the big boss of the Mangalores, Aknot. He was pretending to be one of the president's soldiers. Aknot hands over the box to Zorg and is like, "All right, where's my cash?" High-tech offers them some seriously cool weapons tech. The Mangalores are thrilled and take the weapons. When Zorg opens the box, it's empty. So Zorg plays it cool and walks out. Knowing what's coming next, those Mangalores accidentally hit a button on one of the weapons, and boom, they're toast. Lilu spills the beans to Vito that the Manda shamans handed the stones to someone they trust, and she needs to reach out to them. Lilu checks out a map on the computer and finds out this someone is a famous singer putting on a show on a fancy cruise ship called Flost in Paradise. Zorg's on a mission to find out where those stones are. But when Vito keeps mum about it, Zorg tries to talk sense into him. While flaunting his fancy gadgets, Zorg accidentally swallows a cherry the wrong way. No matter what button he presses on his gadgets, they can't do a thing to help. Vito points out that having all that power doesn't mean squat if something as small as a cherry can still cause trouble. Vito lends a hand, helping Zorg cough it out, and Zorg's grateful enough to let Vito off the hook. Later on, one of Zorg's pals bugs a meeting with the president and finds out the singer's got the stones. Corbin's just enjoying some grub from a floating street vendor when he gets a message out of the blue saying he's been fired. Corbin has no idea what she's talking about because he never entered any contest. Suddenly, he gets another message, 2 tickets to Flost in Paradise. It all starts to make sense when 3 soldiers show up and the government rigged the contest so Corbin could go undercover and nab the stones from the singer, Vito and Lilu. In a panic, Corbin hides the soldiers in his fridge before letting Vito and Lilu in. Vito quickly pulls out a gun and says they need the tickets to get the stones. Corbin hides Lilu in his sink and Vito in his self-making bed, while he plays it cool against the wall, waiting for the cops to do their thing. Corbin tries to avoid the cops by pretending to be someone else, tricking them into searching the wrong place. Meanwhile, the Mangalores create chaos and take away someone they think is Corbin. Vito knocks out Corbin and takes the tickets. When Corbin wakes up, Vito and Lilu are gone. But there's a note from the frozen soldiers, saying they're on board with the plan. Later, David uses fake passports to pose as Corbin, and they all head to the airport. At the spaceship check-in, Corbin manages to join his friends just in time. They board the spaceship, but there's trouble with sneaky imposters and Zorg's henchmen. Meanwhile, Ruby is excited to have Corbin on his show, but Corbin isn't in the mood for chatting. Later, they land on planet Floston, where they find Vito hiding in the vents. Corbin checks out their hotel room while Lilu spies on the singer, Diva. Diva invites Lilu to meet after the concert. At the concert, Diva's singing moves everyone, but she also fights off aliens and grabs the box they're after. Lilu throws the box to Corbin and hides in the vents, but Zorg hears her getting hurt. More trouble stirs up at the hotel when more Mangalores storm in and start grabbing hostages. Diva takes a tumble off the stage, and Corbin rushes to help her, hiding her behind some seats. With her last bit of strength, Diva asks Corbin to save humanity and spills the beans that the stones are hidden inside her. Zorg opens the box and finds it empty, so he heads back to the hotel. Out of nowhere, a Mangalore jumps Corbin. Then, Corbin dives into Diva's wound and starts pulling out the stones, wrapping them up in his jacket and handing them to Ruby. After Corbin manages to knock out a bunch of Mangalores, they start shooting even more powerful missiles. Then he spots Ruby up on the balcony and signals for him to move. Corbin leaps onto a plank and sends one of the aliens flying, accidentally getting its head stuck through the balcony railing. As more Mangalores show up, Corbin fights them off, causing chaos and making a hole in the wall. Ruby falls, but the humans start winning the fight. They find the bomb and evacuate the guests. They steal Zorg's ship to escape, but he tries to deactivate a bomb, only to realize there's another one. One of the Mangalores triggers it, blowing up the hotel and killing Zorg. The team escapes before the explosion catches them, but evil speeds up towards Earth. They arrive in Egypt, where David leads them to the temple. Lilu is still injured and passes out. They realize they need to activate the stones with their corresponding elements. Corbin kisses Lilu, awakening the fifth element, which activates the ultimate weapon. Government scientists heal Corbin and Lilu in DNA pods. Lindbergh arrives to thank them, but a scientist interrupts, asking him to wait. So share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, see you all.